As dawn painted the Montana highlands with soft amber light, the sprawling meadows glowed, their tall grasses swaying gently. Near a rugged outcrop cloaked in wildflowers, a female husky labored through intense contractions. Her thick, silver-gray fur, streaked with black, glistened with exertion under the early sun. This wasn't the den she'd planned to find, a sheltered cave or thicket, but birth waited for no one. Her instincts roared that the moment had arrived. After 5 grueling hours, 6 tiny pups entered the world. The first 5, each around 650 grams, squirmed vigorously, seeking their mother's warmth and milk. Their cries rang clear in the cool air. The 6th, a frail pup weighing only 400 grams, arrived last. His tiny frame trembled, his whimpers barely audible. The mother husky nuzzled him fiercely, willing his fragile heart to beat stronger, but his faint pulse wavered. For 4 days, the mother moved her litter constantly, her senses alert to threats from wolves or eagles. She carried each pup carefully through the dense meadows, her steps swift and silent. The first 5 grew stronger, but the runt faltered. Too weak to compete for milk, he was pushed aside by his siblings, his strength fading hourly. On the 5th morning, the mother sensed a deeper stillness in him. His body was cool, his breathing shallow. His small eyes flickered, as if letting go. She licked him desperately, but his responses dwindled. A low hum of engines sharpened her focus. 2 ATVs rumbled along a dirt path 150 meters away, pausing as tourists photographed a herd of elk. The mother husky crouched, her ice blue eyes tracking the vehicles, especially the second one, painted slate gray. After 15 minutes, the ATV stopped. A guide pointed at the elk, and camera shutters clicked. In the second vehicle, a man sat alone in the back, slightly detached. The mother glanced at her runt, then at the ATV. A primal instinct surged. With the runt gently in her jaws, she glided through the grass, silent as mist. In one fluid motion, she placed the pup on the seat beside the man, who was looking elsewhere. For a split second, her gaze locked with Daniel Harper's shocked eyes. A silent plea passed between them. Then she vanished, returning to her 5 stronger pups. The mother husky never revisited that meadow. Her instincts led her to guide her healthy pups to safer grounds, far from human paths. Daniel Harper, 62, barely processed the moment. One instant, he was photographing elk. The next, a tiny, damp pup lay beside him, and the image of the husky fading into the grass seared into his mind. His startled shout drew the group's attention. Clara, the 42-year-old guide with 12 years of leading tours, took charge. She'd seen wildlife act strangely, but never a husky entrusting her pup to humans. "He's slipping," Clara said, cradling the fragile pup. "We need to get to the sanctuary now." After a 35-minute drive, they reached the Blackfoot Wildlife Haven. Veterinarian Dr. Sarah Kim, 48, met the crisis with steady expertise. Her hands moved quickly, assessing the pup's vitals. "Malnutrition, dehydration, low body temp," she said, preparing equipment. "And a faint heart murmur, likely congenital." She gave the pup a 25% chance of surviving the day. The team set up a tiny 4, placed the pup in a heated incubator, and fed glucose through a tube. Daniel, meant to rejoin the tour, stayed. Unknown to the team, he'd been a pediatric nurse in Portland before retiring, having lost his son to a heart defect 5 years earlier. "Can I help?" Daniel asked, watching Dr. Kim adjust the pup's care. For the next 72 hours, he rarely left the treatment room, using his expertise to monitor vitals, adjust dosages, and create a feeding method for the frail pup. They named him Spark for the faint life he clung to. On the 5th day, a small miracle emerged. Spark's eyes opened, weak but steady. He began responding to touch and took milk from a specialized bottle. Each gram he gained was a victory. Daniel postponed his return home, renting a small cabin near the haven. He spent hours with Spark, feeding him, tracking his heart, and teaching him skills his mother would have passed on. Dr. Kim, initially skeptical of Daniel's involvement, grew to respect his medical insight and dedication. Spark grew stronger, his heartbeat stabilizing, a testament to the care of a team united by hope and a husky's quiet trust. At the Blackfoot Wildlife Haven, Daniel Harper and Dr. Sarah Kim developed a specialized treatment plan for Spark, merging human pediatric cardiology with husky physiology. After 2 months, Dr. Kim said, "You've done more than enough, Daniel. We can handle it now." But Daniel couldn't leave. In Spark's fierce gaze, he saw echoes of his son's battle, a quiet, stubborn will to live. 6 months later, Spark had grown into a resilient pup. His ventricular septal defect, inoperable, lingered, but he adapted. He'd never rival his siblings' strength in the wild, but a meaningful life was possible. 18 months after that extraordinary day, Daniel stood on a bluff overlooking a 50-hectare enclosure fortified with advanced electronic fencing. Below, a young husky crouched in the meadowgrass, tracking a deer fawn grazing nearby. Daniel hadn't returned to Portland. He sold his apartment, cashed out his retirement savings, and settled in Montana. With grants from the Global Wildlife Alliance, he helped found the Blackfoot Husky Haven, a semi-wild refuge for huskies unable to fully return to nature. Spark was its first resident. Now weighing 15 kilos and nearly a meter long, he was a striking young husky, his silver-gray coat with black streaks gleaming with vitality. A faint scar on his chest from months of intensive care was the only trace of his fragile beginning. Daniel, Dr. Kim, and wildlife experts crafted a reintegration program. At first, Spark found pre-placed food hidden in the enclosure. Gradually, they introduced live prey, rabbits, voles, then larger animals. Each step was bittersweet for Daniel, who reminded himself the goal wasn't to keep Spark close, but to prepare him for his true home. Every sharpened instinct, every successful chase, brought him closer to independence and to their inevitable separation. The hunt unfolding below was a pivotal moment, Spark's first unassisted pursuit of large prey. Daniel and Dr. Kim watched from afar, hearts racing but hands steady. Spark's first 2 attempts were too cautious, startling the fawn. On the third, he adjusted, using the wind and terrain to his advantage. A swift, precise lunge to the fawn's neck ended the hunt in moments. Daniel closed his eyes, pride mixed with quiet grief. This was the moment he'd worked for, yet it marked the nearing end of their time together. A week later, the Haven team made a surprising discovery. Trail cameras detected a pack of female huskies with pups 12 kilometers away, at the edge of the reserve. DNA from scat samples hinted one female might be Spark's kin. After intense discussions, the team decided to equip Spark with a GPS collar and release him near the pack. No fences, no safety net, a true chance at the wild. On Spark's final day at the Haven, Daniel sat near him as he rested under a pine tree. He kept his distance, as physical contact had long stopped, but when Spark stirred, his ice-blue eyes met Daniel's with quiet recognition. At dawn, the crate door opened. Spark paused, glanced back at Daniel and the team, then melted into the meadowgrass. The next 2 weeks were tense. GPS data showed Spark exploring cautiously, staying distant from a husky pack, but hunting successfully 2 small deer. On day 20, the GPS revealed something extraordinary. Spark had approached the pack. Camera traps captured him resting meters from an adult female. No hostility, only tentative curiosity. In the months that followed, Daniel launched the Spark Husky Conservation Initiative, dedicated to protecting and studying huskies across the region, ensuring others like Spark could find their place in the wild. Spark's story, the rescued husky, gained global attention, highlighting the declining husky populations in the American Northwest. Donations flooded in, allowing the Blackfoot Husky Haven to expand and start educational programs in nearby communities. Daniel Harper now lives in a modest cabin near the Blackfoot Research Center, working part-time to support wildlife rehabilitation and train local staff in animal care. Each morning, he drinks coffee on his porch, gazing across the Montana highlands where Spark roams free. GPS data and camera traps offer glimpses of his life. His heart condition limits his hunting agility, but he's found a niche in the ecosystem. Recent images show him integrated into the husky pack, with signs he may have bonded with a young female. When GPS signals place Spark near the research center, Daniel drives out, binoculars in hand. Sometimes, he spots a silver-gray shadow weaving through the grass, black streaks catching the sun. On rare occasions, sharp blue eyes meet his, a fleeting connection across worlds. The mother husky's extraordinary act that day was driven by instinct. That same instinct now guides Spark through his wild life. Humanity, Daniel learned, can bridge the gap with compassion, but must also know when to let go. He'll never know if the mother husky saw something in him or if desperation drove her choice. Daniel chooses to believe it was a deeper bond, a testament that salvation can emerge from unexpected places, linking humans and nature through empathy. Excerpt from Daniel Harper's Journal, June 15, 2024. Today marks 5 years since Ethan's death. 5 years since my son, just 12, lost his fight with a heart defect. 5 years of drifting through life, hollowed out, just going through the motions. Sarah left after the second year, unable to bear the weight of our shared grief. I don't hold it against her. I barely know myself anymore. This Montana tour was a desperate stab at feeling alive again. The Highlands, far from Portland's hospitals and the sterile smell that haunts my dreams, seemed like a way to breathe. June 28, 2024. Something impossible happened today. A mother husky placed her pup beside me. Her eyes met mine, and I felt something stir, something beyond reason. Now I'm at the Blackfoot Wildlife Haven, watching a tiny life cling to existence. His heart murmurs a ventricular septal defect, just like Ethan's. Fate or chance? July 2nd, 2024. Fourth sleepless night. Spark, named for the faint life he holds on to, had a rough night. Fever spiked, heart erratic. I adjusted his fluids and meds, relying on old nursing instincts. Dr. Kim was impressed by my cardiac knowledge. I haven't told her about Ethan. How do you even begin? When I hear Spark's uneven heartbeat, it's like hearing Ethan's again. This time I won't let go. July 17th, 2024. A month since Spark came to me. He's up from 400 grams to 1.3 kilos, small, but a fighter. I've canceled my flight back to Portland. There's nothing for me there. Here, I have purpose. Ethan loved dogs. His room was filled with books on huskies and wolves. We planned a trip to Glacier National Park when he got better. A plan we never kept. September 3rd, 2024. Spark's gaining strength. His eyes are bright, and he's starting to play. I'm staying in Montana, at least for now. Ethan would have loved this, saving a husky, giving it a chance to run free. I'm starting to feel like I'm honoring him, not just surviving. September 10th, 2024. Spark chased a lure today. A sack of meat pulled across the meadow. He's still awkward, but his instincts are sharpening. Dr. Kim says it's time to prepare for his release. She's right, but the thought of life without Spark feels empty. I couldn't save Ethan, but I can save him. December 25th, 2024. First Christmas in Montana. No snow, no carols, just a quiet I didn't expect. Spark caught a vole today, his gift to me. I cried for the first time since Ethan's funeral, not out of pain, but relief. Maybe this is why the mother husky chose me. Maybe we're all searching for salvation. February 14th, 2025. I'm planning a 50-hectare haven for Spark and other huskies who can't fully return to the wild. I sold my Portland apartment and drained my savings. Sarah thinks I'm reckless. Maybe I am. But for the first time in years, I feel alive. June 20th, 2025. We released Spark near the husky pack today. I didn't think I could let go, but I did. Watching him slip into the grass, I understood this is how Ethan would want me to live. Not trapped in grief, but finding purpose through loss. The mother husky taught me the toughest lesson. The deepest love is letting go. She gave her pup a chance by giving him up.